kitchen scale can be a really amazing tool as you're looking to be as most precise as possible with your efforts in the kitchen. Now let me start by saying you don't need to use the kitchen scale forever. You can use the kitchen scale to be as precise with your efforts as you're navigating a fat loss phase, which can last anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks. And then the goal is that after you've used the kitchen scale and logged your food for that long consistently, you're gonna have a really good grip of what 2 tablespoons of chia seeds looks like, or what 100 grams of yogurt looks like. And you're gonna use these tools in this education far long after the 12 to 16 weeks. So be consistent, be precise for those 12 to 16 weeks so that you can reap every single ounce of success from your already zoned in efforts in the kitchen. So I'm gonna demonstrate a couple examples with things like yogurt, almonds, cheese, and then snacks that we see a lot like Chex Mix. All of these can be used with the kitchen scale, as long as with things like meat, potatoes, rice, even veggies. So use it as often as you can to be the most precise as possible. First tip that I want you to always live by is, as you're using your kitchen scale, grab the dish you're going to eat your food in first. That way when you place it on your kitchen scale, you can zero it out, put your food in, and once it's leveled to whatever it needs to be, you can grab your dish and go, versus making a bunch of dishes dirty. So I'm gonna start with the yogurt here. If you look at the nutrition label of the yogurt, it says that a serving size is 3/4 of a cup, or 170 grams. And you'll see the grams written there a lot of times. It's the most precise unit of measurement for food. So what you can do is, if I'm serving yogurt into my bowl, I zeroed it out here, and I'm going to change my unit to grams. And so looking at my scale right here, it says 0 because it's zeroed out. Now I'm going to take my yogurt and I'm going to scoop it in here until it says 170.
So if I eat all of this, I eat a whole serving of yogurt. Yogurt specifically, when it comes in these containers like this serving size is 150 grams, so it's very similar to the amount of yogurt that I have here in my bowl. But if you have things like this, it makes it really easy when you're going to log your food, because you can just scan this barcode, it pops right up, and if you ate a full one, then you can just say, yep, I ate one, I didn't even have to measure anything. So this can be really convenient for measuring purposes, but if you have something like this, that is how I would recommend doing it. Now, let's say I want to eat granola with my yogurt. I'm going to keep my bowl here. I'm going to zero it out again.
So it's back to 0 grams, and what I would do is, if I had my granola, I would pour it on until it had the recommended amount of serving. Okay, up next we're going to do almonds. If you look at the ingredient label for almonds, we can see it here. It says that a serving size is 1/4 of a cup, or 30 grams of almonds. So again, I just zeroed out my scale, got ready to eat them. I'm going to dump them in until it says 30 grams. This is a serving of almonds, and it ends up being a handful. So you see how my palm is it's covered with almonds here. This is a serving. So if I wanted to maybe not use a scale, I could do a handful of almonds like that. Obviously the scale is going to be the best way to go, but yeah, that is how you can do something like that. And then something like chia seeds, these are going to be any sort of seed that you do is going to be really calorie dense. They're healthy, and it doesn't mean we need to be scared of them. It's just they're really dense in calories. So a serving size of chia seeds is 2 tablespoons, and I could literally use a tablespoon, like an actual tablespoon, or I can measure it. The great unit of measurement here for grams is 24, so I can just 24 grams of chia seeds. There we go. Okay, so there you have it. That's a serving of chia seeds. So that's a lot of seed. I might use like half of this or something in a smoothie. This is a lot of chia seed for me, but in some of the chia seed, overnight oat recipes, it might call for 2 tablespoons, but that is a serving of chia seeds. Okay, next we're gonna do handy dandy Chex Mix. So a lot of these sort of snacks like Cheez-Its, Chex Mix, it's so easy to just eat them, right? We're going to measure the serving here, which is 1/2 of a cup, equivalent to 29 grams. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like. If you're serving yourself this at home, you could put a little bowl or whatever that you're using to have your snack in on the scale, dump it right in. So there we have it, a serving of Chex Mix. This is a serving of Chex Mix. And in this serving right here, it's 22 grams of carbs and 2 grams of protein, 3 grams of fat for 120 calories. So this is, you know, about a handful of Chex Mix. And you might be thinking, holy smokes, you know, I might eat like 4 servings of that without even thinking about it. So it's a large handful is what it ends up being. But that is just a little eye-opening. I'm sure you would agree. I'm gonna show you something like cheese. Now, the serving size of this cheese is 1/4 cup, or 28 grams. And a lot of times it ends up being more cheese than you actually use. Let's go ahead and measure and see what this looks like. It's 1/4 cup. Now, if I'm putting like this on my eggs or something, I might just grab a dabble and sprinkle it on. You still want to measure that. But let's see here, 28 grams. Okay, so, which this to me would be 1/4 cup, this little glass container. And these, a lot of times, like this or this is equivalent to a cup, most likely, like not all of it, but some of it. These are all made for units of measurement too, but this is 1/4 cup of cheese here, and / or considered a serving. So, I mean, I'm not gonna put all that on my eggs. I might put like, I might grab this much, which is half, and sprinkle it on my eggs. But even though that doesn't feel like a lot, it feels like a dash of cheese. We need to measure that because this is 110 calories right here. Some final tips when you're using the scale is keep it somewhere in your kitchen that you can see it. I keep mine in a basket next to my stove with my oven mitts, but it's in a really easy place to grab. And then I talked before about putting the bowl that you're eating your snack in, put it on here and add to your bowl as you go, zeroing out every time. And as you're doing that, have your phone pulled up and log it as you're going. That way it's just done. And I know it feels like it might like take an extra second, but stick to it for 12 weeks and it's going to go such a long way. And you're going to use these tools and these visual demonstrations that you find in the foods that you eat often. You're going to apply that to your life every single day after you log your food, and it will change your life. One last tip that I think is helpful is, let's say you make chicken, rice, and broccoli for dinner, just a really simple example. You put your plate here on the scale, you change your unit to ounces for meat, and like 3 ounces of meat is gonna be a serving. So you're gonna dump that on your plate, zero it out, put your rice on your plate, zero it out, and then do the same thing with broccoli. And there you have it. Your whole meal is measured, and you're gonna eat one of those, and then, you know, not going back for seconds is going to be a good general rule to follow, and then following your hunger cues later as you work towards your calorie targets. Now, in the app, what I recommend you doing is use the meal plan feature. If you are a personalized client, you have access to the meal plan feature, and with this feature you can plan your meals that you're eating throughout your week. You can make that homemade meal, and if you eat a serving of the soup or the, you know, whatever it is, you can just press 8 it and it counts for a serving, and you don't have to go through and log and weigh all of the individual pieces of a homemade meal. Instead, it's just here's the recipe. It already does the division for you. After you make it, you press 8 it logs your calories, and it's so simple, and the recipes are simple and delicious, and you're gonna find so much inspiration and motivation that comes from following that plan. You're gonna feel so good. So do it and stick to it, and yeah, let me know if you have questions.